All right, first thing is settings. You notice that my Linux screen is bigger. That's because I went into settings, found the display size and changed it. But I'm also going to turn off the requirement that it prompt me for login because we're going to be going back and forth a bunch of times here. And I really don't need that turned on. Well, there's the resolution that I set it to on those settings. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a walkthrough of assignment 3 and of me building it. And that should help, I hope, with you guys getting through this. I don't know if this setting is under power. Blank screen, 5 minutes. That looks like, yeah. We'll go to never. And maybe it's under display. Orientation, resolution, scaling. No, I think we're going to go with that and see if that turns it off. We'll find out here in just a minute as we're doing this recording. So hopefully I don't have to enter the password every time on that. I mean, this is a virtual machine, not a real machine. On a real machine, I'd absolutely want that. But on my virtual machine, my entire desktop will lock on the host instead of requiring the client to do that. So I'm pretty comfortable with that. All right, if we go and pull in, git pull, in the assignments, okay, there are a couple files here that are actually empty, but the first thing I want to do is copy all of this stuff to a directory up on the Linux system. So in my home directory, if we make a directory, make dir A03, that's a good one, for assignment 3, and there's nothing in the directory yet, so let's go and copy some stuff there. Let's just cab everything out of assignment 3 and copy it up there to was 75 home pschlump. You want to use your account there instead of mine, or you will get an unusual result. So let's just copy those things. And now that I have those things up there, I'm ready to get started. I can go into PSQL. Yes, it is here. So the first step is there was some tables to create. So \I assignment 03 SQL, I think. Yes. So create some tables. And the first thing I notice is I've got to have that setup stuff for this account to be able to use UUIDs and generate UUIDs. I'll have to go find that. And I know it was like in the interactive stuff in number 38. I don't remember what it was. But let's go find that and let's see if I am logged in. Lesson list here, and it was in 38, I think. It's in the 1.1 keyword lookup. If I remember correctly, maybe it's 39. And we are doing keyword lookup, so this is the one we're going to be looking at. But I think the little setup piece that I need, and it's in a couple of these, I think 8 or 9 or something like that, but I think 38 or 39 has it in it. So let's go pick on this one. And yeah, there it is. That's what I want. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a way to cut and paste to this system. So I'm actually just going to retype those things. And I don't need the if not exists because guess what? I know it doesn't exist because I just got an error. So create extension. I think I only need that one to actually make it work. But while I'm at it, since this isn't going to be our only homework and we are going to be using encryption, PG crypto. Okay, you need that for the next one. So I might just well do it right now while I've got it in front of the screen on me where I can see it. And now if I up arrow a couple times, I can get back to this. And that looks much better instead of getting a slew of errors. So first thing is fix those and get the tables built. Now, as soon as I do that, now we're actually to the assignment. We've got the stuff started. We need the data from 02, at least some of the data to test with, but I'll have that in another file where I did assignment 2. And as I recall from this, these table names are actually different, so I'm probably going to have to edit the data a little bit to be able to connect to it and run these. I don't remember now whether I changed the table names or not, but I think those were different table names. We'll see here in a second. Okay, back in PSQL, let's do a cleanup to verify that that works. I'll actually go show you the script here in a second. But if we do insert cleanup, it deletes 0 rows. I just created the table, so that's what you would expect. And this is your cleanup script, which basically just has 3 deletes in the right order with cascade so that it can delete all the rows and not drop the tables, but delete the rows with the constraints there. So that's the purpose of that, because I'm assuming that, you know, if you're like me, it's going to take more than one try to get the data right. You know, the magic of here in the video is that I've actually run this more than once, so I know that the data is going to load. So we do the cleanup, and then we want to insert the data from assignment 2. Basically, I changed the table names on this so that it would work right. But there's the data, but the problem is we haven't created the TS vector and that kind of stuff. But at least we know the data is loading. Now I'm going to have to reload the data again when I get other things created. But here we have the data. Okay, now that we got data, let's get down to business. Now, my memory serves me correctly. I think homework 38, it mentions this in the interactive stuff, actually does most of this assignment. So we're going to go poke into the code for 38 and see if we can just cut and paste some code, put it together with that, get it to work. Because right now, if you just describe the tables, A03 title, there we go. We notice that words, okay, which is null allowed, is empty. Which is not the desired effect. So we got to fix words. We got to take care of updated. So we need a couple triggers on this table. One on update and insert. No big deal. We'll go find the triggers and we'll go build them. Now, of course, I don't have the code all over on my Linux system. I have the entire checkout of the GitHub stuff on the my host. So let's go in homework, and here is all of this stuff. And, oh goodness, look at how many files there are in 38. Let's go edit them and take a look at them. And this is some sort of an examples. I remember looking at this stuff in the video. And there's the example of how to search it. I think we need that for later for the last part of this homework. So let's see what file that is. That's 4. I'll take a little note here on a piece of paper that 04 I need to get back to at the end of the homework, because it's got this funny operator in it at and it shows how to do those. So that's good. Now here is the example where they created in the interactive homework created the table. And it didn't update, and I think it had a trigger in it, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Here's the goofy trigger code in 10. 10. So 10's got the trigger code. Those are the pieces I need to make this work. And you notice in here, it... well, we are doing English. That's good. Okay. And then it sets document tokens to this setwake TS vector, whatever that long, oh, that's the English, okay, reg config, okay, all right, whatever a reg config is, and it does title and body. So basically, I just got to change those and copy that trigger and then create the trigger on it. Okay, so this is the one of the triggers that I need, which is the one for the TS vector. And, oh, and here's an index. Oh, I bet I'm supposed to create an index on it. I wonder if an index is created. So what file is that? That's 12. Okay. We'll have to look and see if it already creates the gin index and that stuff. I didn't look closely enough. Sadly enough, I wrote it. I don't remember. So let's copy all 3 of those over there to our virtual system, and then we can start hacking and slashing on those and make those work. But that looks useful. So homework 38, 04, homework 38, 10, and homework 38 _12 dot SQL2 168.75. Remember, your IP address is going to be different than mine, as well as account name. So if you just type in 75, it will go off into na-na land, and it will not connect, and eventually it'll error. Home A03. Okay, copied those over. That's the stuff that I really needed from 38. So copy that. Now, interestingly enough, I think there are triggers in here. grep -i does pattern matching across files. -i says case incentive. And let's just look through here. And yeah, 26 had triggers in it. 31. We prevented delete. Let's look at 26. 26 has a bunch of triggers. Now, if I do the grep and I put this in some temporary file, I like to use temporary files that start with a comma, because nobody uses commas, and consequently, I can not worry about what I'm running into stuff from other people. And then go in VI, and I really want to throw away everything after the colon so I can just build a list of file names. So I did :*, and I substituted to the end of the line and just replaced that with //. So that was, if I do it again, I did : VI, %s, which says for every line substitute : which goes to the end of the line, and replace that with nothing so that I can get down to just the file names. Now, VI allows me to run other commands, and in this case, if I do % and I run an external command to VI, if I do sort -u, that's a unique sort, I get just a list of file names, and this is the ones that had all the triggers. I know I don't need 38 because I already looked at that, but I can go look at 26. Okay, and there's the file names in 26 that I need. It's hard to see with spelling on, but if I take those 5, and I'll put that in (b), I just did 5dd, and then I pasted p in this other file name. And I now have a list of files that are in 26. So I can do VI. And then one of those things you can do is you can take the contents of a file in Unix or Linux and put that back on the command line. So let's do echo $paren cat. Cat, remember, it puts a file to standard out. So I'm going to take the output of a file, put it back on the command line to use with another program. (b), and echo just shows me that it put those up there on the command line. So if I do that with VI now, I can go and edit that list of files. And I wanted to look for triggers, and look at that. First file I found, it's got an updated. So this piece from 26 is what I really want. And this file is homework 2601. All right, so it's got some other things in it I don't need, but if I copy that, take that, ship it up to the other system, then we'll be able to use it up there. Home pschlump A03. And now, if we go and look at over here, I went and found the pieces I need, and I've got these other homework things. Let's start with the simplest one, the updated, which was homework 26. So I'm going to just copy that to another file, just CP from to when you do a CP, and homework 26. And what I did is I typed in part of the name and then I hit tab, which does file completion, so I don't have to type in the whole name. And A03, what are we going to call this? Update trigger. That's a decent name. And it has all of these. Oh, remember, we had to go look up that create extension stuff. I don't need that stuff. In VI, you can do set NU, which turns on line numbers so that I can just do dot from the current line down to 34D, throw that out, and now I just need to do some changes to this to get the correct table name. And this one is probably done. I wonder if that column is called updated. Let's go look at the table and see what the table is that has updated in it. It was assignment It's assignment03.sql. So I use the up arrow to bring back that vi command, and assignment .sql. And luckily for me, the column is called updated. There's just one of them, and the table is A03 title. So if I come in here and I take that other table name and I just replace it, okay, tymux user with A03 title, okay. And I kind of want to change the name of the trigger because I'm not too fond of that name, which was used for something else. So we want to change that name of the trigger, which is also the name of that function. We've got to change that. So let's start with that. T2 A03 update trig. All right, that changed the name of the function, and now we want to change the name of the trigger to A03 update trigger. Okay. Now, since I just changed names and I didn't do much besides that, I suspect this guy's going to work. Okay. So let's go try it. That's good enough for the moment. Okay, I don't know if it actually works, but we'll run some tests to actually look if it works in a second. But it compiled, so we'll take a guess. And then we want to do the other thing, which is the trigger on the actual words. And that was, I was supposed to look to see if there was a gin index created. So assignment 03 SQL. And yes, there is a gin index right there on line 16. So I don't have to worry about the index. That means that I think 12 is off my list. And it was just 10 that I had to worry about, if I remember correctly. 3810. And yeah, this is my functions and my triggers to build the title and body lookups that we needed. So let's give that a better name. And you can rename files, move homework 3810 to A03 word trigger. And rename works from to, so when you rename something, you can rename from directory to directory, you can rename in a particular directory. And again, what I want to do is start with this trigger. It says docs update. What do we want to call that? It is A03 title. And I'm going to do something like that. You know, we could probably go with the existing. Okay, so I changed the title of the function, okay, to something reasonable. And now I notice that this has document title and document body. I think I've got to change those. Okay. I don't remember what we called it tokens. We'll have to go look. But I think we called it title and body, so let's fix that. And I called it words as the destination where the TS vector type is. That's what we're building. So document tokens become words. That's a peculiarly bad column name. But life goes on. And we want it to be insert or update on. And we'll go back here and we'll look again at the file. And it is insert or update on A03 title. So for each row that's inserted or updated on A03 title, we call this function title words update. Okay, and there's the function. And it basically just calculates these vectors and sets that value right here into words and returns it with that value set. So this is A03 word trig, and let's actually go run it. This doesn't mean it works. We're just going to find out if it at least compiles. Word trig. And relation index docs does not exist. Skipping. So I did something wrong in this. Drop trigger. That was not the right name. I didn't change every name. A03. Title. That's supposed to be the name down below. This is we'll make it something more reasonable there. And I actually think that loaded because although the name was wrong. Okay. We're gonna go back to that name and we're gonna put this in and do it right. I've got to drop the old name and create the new one. So A03 docs trig 1. We'll do it that way. So we drop the old name. It shouldn't have an error. We try to drop it if it exists. That should actually, I sort of look to see if it was just an information, but we will do it again with a little bit better name. And I still haven't gotten it right. Oh, it's on the table. A03 title. We'll try that one more time. Okay, that looks better now. And this means we're ready to go and try doing the operation with the cleanup. And we deleted some stuff. And then we want to do the insert and see if we get the right things. It inserted without errors. That's actually pretty good when you've added triggers. That means that the triggers didn't fail. They actually ran. Now we get to describe the table and see if we actually got the results we're wanting, which is that the updated should be populated the way I'm doing some of these things, but most importantly, the words. So let's go look at words. Select words from A03 title. And that's the kind of data I'd expect to see out of that. Some sort of horrible stuff that, has positions and locations in all these documents. And when you get to this end, do a Q. So that looks like the trigger actually fired and updated. So yeah, that's kind of the code. The rest of it is just doing a query on it and finding out if we've got the right results. And somewhere we pulled out one of these things that was a query. I think it was 04. Yeah. Except we've got to actually have a from and stuff in there to actually query the table. So let's do a quick edit. I had to look at my notes to see which one it was, but let's make this homework 3804 to A03 select. So what we want to do is we want to do select star from whatever that table was, A03 title, where, and I don't remember what we were supposed to get from that. what we were supposed to put in. Let's try fox. There's no foxes in there anywhere, but we'll see if the query works. Then we'll go look at the assignment and see what it says. And it selected something, and it actually found something with fox in it. I didn't think there was a fox in there anywhere. No, there's a fox because A38 has a fox in it, because that was the example from A38 was fox. So of course there's going to be a fox somewhere in there. Oh, okay. So yeah, I didn't think it was going to get anything, but I used data that was in there. So yeah, there's a fox. There's quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog. Of course it has a fox in there. So yeah, it found something. That means that all we have to do is just change that one word in the query. And we've got this. We've got this. So let me go back to the assignment. And the query was supposed to have configuration. All right, there's configuration right there. That's the word we're looking for. Okay, so we'll just put that in there. Put it in a file. I wasn't very effective doing that, was I? Typoed that one. But we will... Now we've got the file with a word in it, and we want to go back to our A03 select. And we want to read in that file, and we're going to look for that word. Configuration. Okay, now I found that when I did a select star, this returned all sorts of stuff, so I think we'll just select ID, because that returned the title and the body, and maybe the title. Okay, so we get a much smaller set of stuff that we can actually read when we do this. And select, and look at that. There's two of them that have a title that has configuration somewhere in the words. And I'd say that is a winner right there. Cut and paste that so that we have that to turn in. That's what you're after. Okay? Alrighty. And now, of course, we got to get this stuff back to, okay, we want to, I don't know that I can cut and paste here, but PSQL, we'll have our output, A03, all right, so now if we look at this, we've got these files, we don't need comma A anymore, remove that. And that means that when we go back over here and we want to have our stuff that we're going to turn in, we'll just make a directory here, A03, and we'll use SCP to copy stuff back from the virtual machine. It's home pschlump. A03 star. I have to put that in quote marks or the star will get expanded on the local system instead of the remote system. So the quote marks there are important, and I just do that, and now I have all those files on my desktop that I copied when I got done, and I'm ready to turn this in. So I think this assignment is actually a little bit easier than the previous one in terms of amount of effort, since most of it came from some examples that we could just go in, find them, tweak table names, tweak stuff, and fix it and get it to work. This kind of a thing with the stuff for word search is actually considered a pretty advanced topic. I know there's a person presenting this same sort of thing that we just did here at the Postgres International Conference this year as how to set up word search. So this is, not just your average sort of thing, but it gives you a lot of a lot of experience playing with the triggers, how you get them to fire, the fact that you can have multiple ones, and insert update triggers, stuff like that. So it's a really good thing. And with that, we'll move on to the next item.